Let's begin by defining terms. You know how I love my dictionary, so let's define feelings and emotions. Emotions and feelings are closely related. Emotions come first. They are instinctual. They are physical. They can be measured objectively because our bodies physically react to emotions. Our blood pressure goes up, brain activity increases, our posture changes, our faces show what is happening. Emotions are universal and shared with other human beings. Feelings are ignited by emotions. They are mental, a reaction to your personal experience, your thoughts, your memories, your beliefs. This means feelings are subjective. However, this does not mean they are of no value. Quite the contrary. Your mind is seeking to assign meaning to the emotions. Your mind is seeking to make sense of them. We already know we are aware of emotions as an INFJ, hyper aware of them in others and in ourselves. But I think the feeling side of things is where it gets tricky because it is so very personal. So mostly I want to speak of feelings here today, my dear INFJ. There is a twofold reason for why you have feelings. Number one, so you can understand others, and number two, so you can understand yourself. It really is that simple. Your feelings are what allow you to come to deeper understanding of humankind, and this includes yourself. However, because we are others-focused first and foremost, understanding of ourselves usually comes after the understanding of others. In fact, we must understand others first in order to fully and finally understand ourselves. I know this is a perplexing statement. I've spoken of this before, and I'll speak more on it again later at another time. Our feelings are strong, and we have them for a very important reason. In fact, one could say we are driven by feelings, by the need to make sense of those feelings. Think of your feelings as a hunch of sorts. Your feelings are telling you that you know something about a situation. It's like a scientific hypothesis in a way. You have a feeling, and it states something to you. The way it works is kind of strange. This process happens more in the background. You act on it without necessarily realizing what you are doing, but you are driven to do it. As you mature, you start seeing your intuition as a trustworthy partner, and that's when things really start to happen. Start purposely discovering if those feelings can be proven, and trust in yourself to do it. Remember, it's a scientific process. As I've said before, it's extremely logical, but it's mysterious too. This knowing is the mysterious thing. INTJs have it too, the difference being that our knowing is more people-geared, and their knowing is more system-geared. We know things. The thing is, when you are still in the developmental stage, you just don't know you know it. Or maybe I should say you don't trust that you know it. You need to start trusting your intuition, trusting in yourself. And you need your introverted thinking. Don't be afraid of that introverted thinking. Embrace it. You need your introverted thinking to prove what you feel about a thing. I've heard it said that only some INFJs are heavy in the introverted thinking department. This is nonsense. Any INFJ worth their salt is a powerful thinker. All four functions work together like a well-oiled machine in a mature INFJ life. All your functions work together brilliantly in this way. Those who doubt the power and influence of the introverted thinking just can't see how they use it yet. You need a strong introverted thinking. You need it to prove those feelings to be absolutely true in a logical way. You need to recognize that feelings can lead to objective conclusions. We are not much different than the INTJ in this regard. The introverted intuition leads us both to interpret information. And even though both are interested in societal injustices, for the most part, the INTJ arrives at objective conclusions about systems and processes, whereas the INFJ arrives at objective conclusions about people and society. For the INFJ, this leads to amazing insights about the human condition and society in general. And for the INFJ, this can also lead to powerful insights regarding yourself. But here is where I must give a warning. How can your feelings rule you? How do your feelings master you? Simple. You look to others first to prove them. This is why there is so much insecurity in younger years, in immaturity. You know it, but you lack the tools to prove it. You need developed introverted thinking to prove it. But lacking this, you look to others to help you, and you get into trouble that way. You must validate your own feelings. You must prove your own feelings. Validate means to prove, to demonstrate, or support the truth or value of. You need to understand something right now. You will be misunderstood. Know that and stop seeking understanding from the world at large. It's a rare person that's going to get your feelings. Who can really get another person's feelings anyway? They're personal. They're subjective. Your feelings are not there for another to interpret, for another to make sense of. You are your own interpreter. You need to start interpreting your own feelings and stop giving the job to someone else, especially someone you do not know enough to completely trust. Do not make yourself vulnerable in this way. Do the work for yourself and then trust those conclusions. Do you sometimes need a bit of help in this area to be critically challenged in your conclusions? Yes, absolutely. And I'll make another video in the coming weeks about choosing trusting relationships for growth, which will help you in that regard. And lighten up a little as well. Sometimes I don't want to evaluate my feelings. Sometimes I just feel like crying because I just feel like it. But it takes maturity to get to this level. You need to know when you need to be rational or irrational. I am sometimes irrational just because I want to be. I want to cry. I want to enjoy that self-pity party. I want to self-deprecate and enjoy the deliciousness of the moment. Twisted, yes, but true. But know the difference between wallowing because you love the feeling of it and wallowing because you are seeking validation from outside yourself. Do your irrational wallowing privately. Never put that out for public display, especially on public platforms, unless you have very thick skin. It's irrational and will not be understood. And if you choose to be vulnerable and put it out there for public display, even if it is rational, be very careful and discerning. It may or may not be understood, so please realize this. You'll get people who say they understand, but who really don't, and you'll find yourself in a circle that wants to swallow you up. Or you will have people who want to give you advice when you don't really need general advice because you are just expressing yourself in order to make sense of yourself. So if you do it, know why you're doing it and be confident in it. My dear INFJ, do not reject your feelings, but be careful not to let them rule you either. We have feelings for a reason. Embrace them. Master them by seeking to prove them. Learn how to honestly and logically evaluate them so you can reach a deeper understanding of yourself and others, and then intelligently communicate that understanding to the world.